Shalom, family trendsetter. Assalamu alaikum. All praises be to the Most High, the unseen power. I give all praises, not worship. And I will explain that later on in the video why I don't worship the Most High, but I do give all praises, if I remember. Anyway, I want to talk about something that happened yesterday. And I used to hear people say karma, right? Karma with a K is a bitch. And for the first time, I understand that there is such thing as karma. And I believe that the Most High is the one that execute karma. I believe whatever you do in life, if you do good, you'll get it back tenfold. If you do evil, it'll come back tenfold as well. So I want to share something that happened yesterday. Now, yesterday's Sunday, according to men's calendar, you know, the day that the heathen worship the sun god Horus, aka Lucifer. I had to go assist my brother-in-law moving some stuff. So we made arrangements for me to meet up with him at a particular time yesterday, which would have been Sunday. Today is actually Monday. You know, one of the days they name after their gods. Got to bring that in there, you know what I mean? Because I'm trying to learn y'all some stuff. Yeah, I say teach, I'm trying to learn y'all some stuff, right? So anyway, I was debating whether I should take the SUV or the cargo van because, you know, the SUV is four-wheel drive and it can handle the snow and the ice. Well, not necessarily the ice, but snow a little bit better because in my area, they still didn't treat the road properly. So we still had a lot of snow patches and ice, you know, ice patches and shit. So something told me not to take the SUV. Just go ahead and take the cargo van because I had to put some tools in it anyway. So anyway, I proceeded to exit my block, but we have like this hill right around the corner from my street. It's a big ass hill, a big steep hill. It's good in the way when it rains because, you know, all the water just goes down the hill, but when it's cold outside and you have a refreeze, it's very treacherous, hazardous, right? Because, you know, you're going down the hill with ice, black ice and shit. Because I remember last year when I was driving my box truck down the hill, I almost slid into this house on the left-hand side. So this time around, I say, you know what, I'm going to proceed with caution. When I get to that hill, I'm going to assess whether or not I can go down the hill safely. So got to the, you know, the tip of the hill and shit, got out the cargo van, and I went to the front and I started looking down. And sure enough, there was a fucking like 5 feet or 6 feet of black ice just spread across the street, spread across the road and shit. And I'm like, man, I ain't going down that shit because I'm thinking like, damn, that's a lot of ice to try to overcome. If it was like maybe, you know, feet of ice, you could probably go over it real quick and then grip the road with the front tire. But I'm like, damn, that's like 5 to 6 feet of ice. And it's like literally like a sheet of ice on the whole street. I don't understand how that happened. Maybe, you know, when they plowed the street and shit, and the snow going to, you know, make a snowbank. Maybe I think what happened was when it was a little warm yesterday, snow began to melt, and then as it refreezed, I think that's what happened. But anyway, I'm looking at this shit for about maybe a minute or two. All of a sudden I hear bomb, 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 like somebody blowing their horn like crazy. Now here in Maryland and shit, people really blow their horn unless it's like an emergency, like it's something about to happen, like maybe an accident is about to occur. You might hear somebody blow their horn to alert you, but you don't hear horn blowing in Maryland. I remember when I first moved down here and shit, and this lady was walking across the street. She was on her cell phone. This is in 2004. And she's walking across the street. She's on her phone, just taking her time. I'm like, I blew my horn like, bitch, get your ass across. And everybody just looked at me like I committed a crime and shit. And they were just staring at me like, what the fuck? And I'm looking at them like, why y'all, you know? And I realized, because my sister told me afterwards, like, nah, you don't do that shit down here. They don't blow their horn, right? So anyway, back to what I was saying. So this woman started to like, this Caucasian lady, right? I'm going to try to be nice in this video. She was just had her hand on the horn, bah, 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 blowing her horn all loud. So I got startled when she first did it. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go behind my van. I'm looking. I'm like, what? And I'm looking at her. She's like, you know, I guess gesturing with her hand, like, move, 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 get out of the way, get out of the way. So I'm, you know, my brain took a little while to process what the fuck's going on because I'm not used to this shit. You know, seeing people act like that, especially these, you know, a Karen, because that's exactly what she was acting like, a Karen. Now this woman. I don't really know her, but I've seen her drive through the block because she live on the other street, but I don't know her per se. So I was like hitting to her, like trying to explain to her. Now it could have been another vehicle blocking me. You know, so I'm hitting to her like there's an obstacle and shit. There's a hazard ahead, and she's throwing up her hands and she's like, ah, ah, ah. So I start to walk over to her, but something told me just stay where you at. You know, proceed with caution and shit, because I don't want the bitch pulling out her phone and say, "Oh, big angry black man." And I wasn't angry. I didn't even say nothing. So I was just hitting to her with my hand like, "Look, there's something up ahead." So she just kept on blowing on her. So as she blew her horn, there's a street, like literally there's a street that she was blocking, right? Cars could come out of it. So I seen like there's two neighbors actually well, they're not neighbors, but two people around the area, they opened their door. I guess they wanted to know what's going on with horn blowing and shit, what's going on. So this lady, she opened her door and she had on her robe and she peeked her head out. She says, "Everything okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." And she said, "What happened? You had an accident?" I said, "No." I said, there's black, you know, I explained to her and shit, there's black ice ahead on this road right here, and I can't move forward. And this lady, well, you know, I don't know what's her problem. She was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, that happens a lot. I don't know what's her problem," because she should know that, you know, whenever we have a refreeze, sometimes we have to literally close the road until they treat this. And she's explaining to me out of her house, freezing cold and shit, trying to, you know, let me know, okay, I understand where you coming from. What's her problem? And then she just, I don't know what's like, she was losing her mind, family. She was a real Karen, right? So I just stopped. I just like stopped and shit. Let's pose like I ain't going nowhere. So then all of a sudden I seen this other man. He came out of his house with his dog and shit. He pretty much trying to be nosy, but he acting like he walking his dog and shit. So he came out of the house and he came over. He said, "Is everything okay?" I said, "No, not really." I said, "There's black ice going down the hill." He said, yeah, because I tried to get up there this morning and I wasn't able to do so. My vehicle's parked down the hill. What is her problem? I said, I'm trying to explain to her and she's not trying to hear it. So he went over to her. I said, let his privilege, you know, do the job, because I'm not going to fuck with her. I don't want her calling the cops and lying and shit, saying an angry black man. You know how they like to lie on us. So he walked over to her. He knocked on her window and she was like, what? He said, "Ma'am, calm down. Like, you know, he cannot move forward. There's black ice down the hill." He's trying to please explain to her why I can't move. So he said, "Why don't you just back your car on my street and let him reverse? And if you want to go down the hill, you can go ahead." Well, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do all of that. You know, why is he blocking? Why don't you just go forward? And I'm like, "Man." And he raised his head and shit over the car. He was like winking to me like, don't say nothing, because he knew what would happen and shit. I guess they know the privilege they got and shit. So he kind of like was trying. Maybe the Mossad sent him to assist me. So he was talking. He said, "Man, why don't you?" And she said, "Why don't you mind?" She said, "Why don't you mind your business? This not having anything to do with you. I am not backing my car up." So then the other lady, now the first lady that came out her door that had the robe on, she came out with her jacket, put on her shoes. She came over and she's like, trying to talk to the bitch, and she just so both of them now teaming up on her. So I just fall back. I fell back and I just started watching. I said, let them go at it, because they got the privilege, I don't. So they trying to explain to her, and this bitch would not budge, family. So I said to her, "Ma'am, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to proceed because there's a hazard. So you have two options. We could sit here all day and try to figure this thing out, or you could just reverse." She said, "I'm going to call the cops." I'm going to say to the guy, what are you calling the cops for? Cops for what? You don't need no cops. What are you calling the cops for? Because he's not moving and he's blocking me in. I feel like he's restraining me. I said, "Restrain you?" I said, oh. So I threw my hands up like, you know how you surrender mode and shit. And the guy was like, don't even worry about it. We're here. We see what's going on. I had to leave my car down the block, and she should know that, it's a reason why you can't move forward. And so I said, "Man, why don't you just come out of the car?" And so I could show. I don't have to. And the reason why I'm making this video, family, because I think that these people are losing their minds. These devils are losing their minds, and they don't know how to handle the fact that they're losing everything. You know what I mean? Because there was no reason for her to act the way she was acting. So anyway, she picked up her phone. I don't know whether or not she called the cops or not, but she was on the phone and she's like, "I'm not moving." So I said, "Well, I'm not moving either." And she said, "You're blocking." So then by that time now, there was like two other cars behind hers, and it so happened to be my neighbors, right? People that, they was Caucasian too, right? And I actually know them, by name, and they know me by name. So the one in the last car, he came out, he was like, "What's going on? You okay?" And he mentioned my name. I said, "Not really." He said, "You had an accident?" I said, "Nah." I said, there's black ice going down the hill, and I'm trying to explain to this lady. And he was like, he said, black guy? I said, yeah. He said, okay, let me go see. Let me see what you're talking about, right? So he went, and as soon as he just turned right around. He said, oh yeah, we definitely can't go down the hill. We got to call the county for them to come in and ice the road. No, he didn't say ice the road. He said salt the road. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm trying to explain to her. So he was pissed. So he got back. He was like, look, you gonna have to, like, he's going at it and shit. So now you got him, the lady, the man with the dog, they all going at it. So I was loving this shit, right? So I started to take my phone out to record. I was like, nah, it's probably inappropriate for me to do so. And this bitch family, she would not budge. So I just went and sat in the in my van, my cargo van and shit, because I'm like, this shit's cold outside. Let her figure it out. So there was some other cars like in front of me, because now they're trying to come up the hill, but they can't make it. They're trying and they sliding sideways down the hill. And I'm like, I'm high beaming them, like, don't try to make it. I'm waving to them, don't try to make it. You ain't gonna make it. So I got out of the vehicle. I'm like, y'all ain't gonna make it. So they understood and shit. They reversed back. Everybody reversed back because it was clearly a hazard. And this girl, this bitch wouldn't. It was a woman. She would not budge. So I don't know what they said to her. So finally, I was looking through my side mirror and I saw her, like, I guess backing up to go on the side street so I can reverse back. So the other two cars that was behind her, they reversed and shit. And then I reversed and I went back into the spot that I was at. So I called my brother-in-law and I was explaining to him what the situation was going on. I said, look, I ain't gonna be able to make it right now because, I'm not able to go down my hill. So he was like, look, I'll tell you what, I'll come get you. Can you meet me down the hill, walk down the hill and meet me? I said, yeah, I could do that. You know what I mean? So he said, I'll hit you back up. So it was about maybe an hour and 45 minutes past. Finally called me, he told me, he was down the hill, meet him down there. So I said, all right, cool. So got dressed and shit, I was heading down the hill. Family, you ain't gonna believe this shit, or maybe you will. As I got to the top of the hill, let me see if y'all could figure out what I'm gonna say next. Let me see if the spirit bears witness. Oh, time's up. I guess y'all ain't figured it out. Guess who car crashed into that house that I told you about that was on the left side? This bitch car, the same devil, right? The same woman that we was trying to tell it's a hazard. I guess she was defiant and she proceeded anyway and she crashed into the man's fence. Fucked this whole fence up. Literally, the car almost ran into his house. Not his house, but his steps. I think what stopped the car from doing so was a batch of snow when they shoveled, but she fucked his fence up. Her car was damaged. So all I saw was the car. I saw, I guess, the homeowner. She was on the side, and I saw county police, I guess, outside taking a statement as to what occurred. And I'm going down the hill, so I stopped for a moment. Right? I said, "Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing?" And I said, "Is that the same lady?" And sure enough, it was the same lady with the SUV. Because I guess she figures, a SUV can do the job going over ice. Let me tell you something, family. You cannot, no matter how skillful you are, you cannot control your vehicle driving on ice. You're at the mercy of the ice. So as I began to walk down there, I had to actually walk on the shoulder because it was so icy and shit, right? It was like, I think it was like 18 degrees outside. That's way, way, way below freezing. So I had to walk like on the snowbank to try to get a grip to go down the hill. That's how treacherous, or that's how hazardous it was. I'm trying to use a big word and shit. And so as I'm passing her, right, I stop. I literally stopped in front of her. And family, you ever hear that phrase where they said, "I see your true colors"? Man, I saw the bitch true colors. This woman turned red when she looked up and she saw me looking at her. I had this big Joker smile on my face. You remember the Kool-Aid commercial with the jug with the big old Kool-Aid smile? I could feel my fucking face transform into the Kool-Aid commercial and shit. I had that big old smile on my face, just looking at the bitch. Trying to telepathically speak to her like, "You stupid bitch." I was trying to warn you. I was lit, man, family. I was loving it. I'm like, karma is a bitch for real. And she looked at me and you could tell she kept looking at me, like shaking her head. She was talking to me telepathically too, like, mind your fucking business. And I'm looking back at the bitch and I'm making face. I'm just smiling. And then the county cop, he looked over at me and shit, But the good thing is I have my work vest on, so it kind of looked like, I'm official and shit. They like, one thing with these devils, when they see you look like you're a working class nigger, they put their defense down. So I had my little work vest, the same vest I have right now, on, and this vest right here, right? This vest right here. I had that on and shit, so it kind of looked like, I'm alright, I'm not a threat. So he looked at me for that maybe like 2 seconds, then he went back to his pad that he had in his hand, taking a report, and she's giving me a look like, mind your business, like shaking her head, looking at me like, like a fucking kid, shaking her head and shit, and I'm shaking back my head like you, and I'm like, I'm like mounting to her like, good for you, like saying that shit to her and shit, and this bitch got mad, family, and she said, why don't you continue where you're going? Why are you so nosy? That's what she said. And I was looking around, because at that point now the devil, the slave patrol, when she said that, he looking around to see who she's referring to, and when he looking around, I'm looking around behind over my back like, who she talking to? She ain't talking to me. And she said, mind your business. And he gave her a look like, are you serious right now? You worrying about him looking? You supposed to be worrying about the accident you caused. That's the kind of look he gave her and shit, right? Because he ain't say nothing to me. I just stood there watching the bitch, right? And just telepathically cursing her out, you dumb fucking bitch. Telepathically cursing her ass out. And I think she probably felt that shit, right? And she was pissed. And then all of a sudden she turned her back to me and shit. And I was, so I said, let me just continue and shit before I start some shit. So I was walking down the hill. So I saw all these cars that couldn't make it up the hill. They got out their car parking and shit, and they walking up the hill. So I was like, look, y'all could walk up the hill, but look, don't block the street, because, other cars. And that just show you how dumb they are. They say they got high IQ. They ain't got no fucking high IQ. Because they felt because, well, we can't move up the hill, we could just block. I said, no. I said, guys, listen, I understand y'all can't, get your vehicle up here, but you really don't want to block the street. What if there's an emergency vehicle got to go through past this, this block to go to the other block? Y'all blocking. I can't do that. And then they was like, yeah, you're right. And, I'm like, looking at them like fucking idiots, like, wow, But the thing, what I'm saying in this particular video, family, that I believe they're losing their minds. They're losing their mind. They're losing their kingdom, and they don't know how to handle this shit. They're stressed out, and common sense is no more for them. You know what I mean? And to know that after all the warnings that was given to this goofy ass woman, she did not take heed to the warning, and then now she gotta pay a deductible out of her pocket for insurance to fix this man's fence. And of course, it's evident why this accident. And it's not even an accident, because she was warned not to go down the motherfucking hill. You know what I mean? If she would have listened, it wouldn't have been an accident. So for me, it was negligence. Negligence she got to pay for, because she's a goofy. So for me, it was satisfying to know that, she got instant karma and shit. That shit felt so good to see. After everything that was said to this goofy ass woman, she's still this devil. She still went ahead and because she got that privilege, that privilege and shit, that shit don't work all the time. You know what I'm saying? Still was glad. I was so happy to see this dumbass bitch, did exactly what I said it was going to happen if she continued. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that shit with y'all, man. It felt so satisfying, family. It felt so satisfying. So do y'all think that these devils are losing their mind? Do y'all feel that there's a shift coming, family? Do y'all feel that tension in the air? And it's so funny, like, I used to always say to people, man, look, man, I'm telling you, come next year, it's just about to be real. And that's the premonition that I've gotten, right? Last year, according to man's calendar, 2023. And I had a little bit of anxiety behind it, because even though I know that the Most High is about to pour out his judgment, but I felt like, damn, but we going to get caught up in the shit. So I had a little bit of anxiety behind it. But this year, according to man's calendar, 2024, the new year, when everything is dead according to the white man and shit, because everything that they deal with is death, right? They celebrate death. You ever notice that shit? They celebrate Thanksgiving. That has to do with the day of mourning for the Native American Indian who were black. You know what I'm saying? They celebrate even Valentine's Day. That shit have a dark history. They celebrate what is it? They celebrate Halloween. That has to do with, you know what I'm saying? They celebrate death. But anyway, this year for some reason I don't have that anxiety no more. It's almost like I welcome this shit. I hope that shit happens sooner than later. Yeah, I know we're gonna be affected to a degree, but I have a peace within me to see finally these devils' kingdom is falling. I posted that little post about Zuckerberg spending $100 million on a compound that have underground bunkers. They're going in hiding. They even got bunkers in the ocean and shit, because they know what's coming. You know, it feels good to know that there is a God, right? The God that we pray to and shit and worship. You know, I don't worship God and shit, you know what I'm saying? I acknowledge the Most High, I give him all praises, but I don't worship the Most High. I don't even pray to the Most High for anything, because my thing is this, right? If he's our Heavenly Father and we're his children, he know what we need. If we follow his law, statutes, and commandments and his dietary law and be obedient to his word, then I think he would bless us. We don't need to worship. I think only Lucifer want worship. That's what I think. You know, that's like how the so-called white man, they first want to become rich, then to become wealthy, then to become powerful, so you can revere them and shit, worship them. I think that's the God that wants worship. The God of, the God of the heathens. I don't think the Most High wants us to worship him. I think that the Most High just wants us to be obedient to the laws that was given to his people, his chosen people, because he didn't give it to everybody. He only gave it to the chosen people. And I'm not talking about those ish people over there calling themselves, Jewish. You know what I'm saying? Their God is a different God. They're the synagogue of Satan. I'm talking about our power, the God, the power that said that he was going to put us into bondage for disobedience. And when the only person that went into slavery was us on slave ship, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, right? So I don't think we should have to pray to God. It's almost like this, right? I'm a dad. I cook some meal. I cook food, right? My kids is hungry. They don't got to pray to me and say, hey, Dad, I pray that you give me food. No, I'm going to take care of you because you're my kids. You're obedient. You guys are good. You know what I'm saying? So why should I have to pray to God for anything? You know what I'm saying? He knows my need. Why do we have to worship? Like I don't want my kids worshiping me and shit. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worship the Most High. I don't. Why does the Most High need worship? All he needs is us for us to be obedient. He said obedient is better than sacrifice. That's what it says in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to worship God. I don't have to pray. I don't even have to pray to God. Am I saying not to pray? Of course you can pray, because if you're in a dire need and you call out to the Most High as a form of prayer, yeah, maybe at that point, because of desperation, you call out and, so it's a form of prayer. But for me to get up every day and pray, God bless me with this and bless, nah. And a lot of times, think about it, right? How often do you pray and your prayers get answered? Very rare. You pray and your prayers get answered. Because you know what? When you pray and the shit get answered, it was going to get answered anyway. So praying and asking and all begging and shit, sometimes we don't even deserve to get the blessing. So you praying in vain. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't worship the Most High. I don't, because I don't know how. He never told me how to worship him. I've never one day read in the Old Testament, even in the Tanakh, right, or the Torah, that tells me I have to worship only Jesus Christ. They bow down and worship Christ, because Jesus Christ is Lucifer. Only he would want worship, because what he's doing is telling the Most High, even though you created these beings, they're worshiping me over you. The Most High don't need us to, our worship to solidify that he's the creator. He's the Most High. He's the God of all gods, quote unquote God of all gods. He don't need that shit. Who are we? We're mere fucking creations. Like, what? We gotta bow down to him and shit? No, he don't need that shit. If we not doing what we supposed to, he's just gonna get rid of us. But only Lucifer would want worship. Why? Because he want to show the Most High, demonstrate the Most High. Yes, you created these beings, and guess what? They're worshiping me. Only Lucifer want worship. That's why the Most High said, I'm a jealous God, and we're not supposed to bow down and worship another God, because you don't need to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? No need to do all of that. And again, y'all might beg me differ, because a lot of us are indoctrinated in shit. But with me, I go on my knees in the night and I give all praise. I said, Heavenly Father, I thank you for seeing the close of another day. Hopefully I was able to, meet the expectation of you. And if that's what you call praying and shit, I think praying is when you ask for shit, right? All I do is just give all praises. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't worship. Thank you. And in the morning, I say I give all praises for allowing me to see another day. Hopefully at sundown, when the angels and shit go back to report my daily activities, it's in the good grace of you. That's it. If that's praying, if you call that praying, then maybe I pray. But I just give all praises. I do not pray. I do not worship God. Because when you bow down and worship someone, that means you can't worship the Most High anyway, because you have to literally bow down to something, to see something, to worship it. You can't see God, right? Nobody sees the Most High. So how the fuck are you bowing down and worshiping? Who are you worshiping? Because there's a lot of entities out there that's willing to jump in front of that praise or that worship and say, oh, they worshiping me. Stop that shit. You don't need to do all that. All right, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm sure y'all would beg me differ. Shalom.